Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The Senate has impeached the Deputy President, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. It has been gazetted, and by the time of recording this video, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Moses Wetangula, has announced the President's new nominee for the position of the Deputy President. That is the Honorable Kindiki Kithure. The question we want to answer is, what is the best next move for the impeached Deputy President, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua? What is the best next political move? If that is a subject you are interested in, I urge you to stay tuned. And if you are watching for the first time, take a moment and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss subsequent videos. Otherwise, let us answer this question. If you are the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, what would you do? Considering everything. As of the time of recording this video, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua has gone to court to challenge his removal from office. Remember, I did a post explaining how the courts can be involved, what the court can do and what the court cannot do. If you are interested in that video, I have linked it here. Now, he is already in court, but is that the best move for him politically? If you asked me, I believe that is a very wrong move. Within his right, yes, it is within his constitutional right to go to court and seek redress. However, politically, it is a wrong move. Let me explain. And to explain this, allow me to give you the chronology of events that led to Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment. You see, once the Deputy President then, the Honorable William Ruto, had settled on Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate, there were murmurs. The people from Mount Kenya, especially the leaders, were not very comfortable with Rigathi Gachagua as a choice. However, the president convinced them that actually it was a very good choice. If you remember the president's speech when he unveiled Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate at Karen, he said he was a pro-people's person, a ruthless mobilizer, and somebody, being an administrator, somebody who will get things done. So it was a combination of everything that the president wanted for the implementation of the plan. The plan, in this case, is the manifesto of the Kenya Kwanza government. So the president had convinced the Mount Kenya people that he did not disobey them by not settling on Kindiki as they had suggested to him, but that he was looking at somebody who was going to help him deliver not just the votes, but also deliver the plan. However, midway, and this is very important, after election and once Rigathi was in office, there is something that happened. He started to lose track. He started to focus on what was not his mandate. For instance, there is a part of him that believed that since he was the senior-most politician from Mount Kenya region, he was supposed to fight, in quote, for the rights of Mount Kenya in this government. He was like a representative of Mount Kenya. Considering Kenya Kwanza is a coalition, so there are different parties that came. But the deputy president thought, so that now that Kikuyus didn't have a party of their own in this, he would be their voice. To some extent, nothing bad with that. But what was wrong was when he upgraded this to raw balkanization. And by raw balkanization, I mean, he decided to make it look like we did a lot, we deserve more because we did a lot, you did nothing, you don't deserve anything. So An example is when he went to, I think, Taita Taveta. And he was telling the leaders that I've heard your complaints, I've heard the things you are raising, I've heard your issues. You are saying this and that and that. But there is nothing I can do for you. You see, you did not vote for us. You see? So next time when we open the shares, go and buy as many as you can. So Kenyans started feeling like it is not just about fighting for his people, but also putting the interest of a certain region ahead of that of the country. And in that case, people don't feel, and as you know, people will not feel comfortable considering everybody pays taxes. Now, that was not all. The Honorable former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, decided that based on his understanding of how the Constitution works, he was unequal to the President. They were equal, so that if the President has not mentioned something in his speech, the Deputy President felt like it was his job to call another press conference to clarify things. They are equals. He has to speak his mind. He has the same mandate, things like that. And so slowly by slowly, one thing added to the other, to the point that Rigathi found himself in a group that was chanting Ruto must go. He found himself even telling people that if it were not for him, Ruto would have not been elected. That actually Mount Kenya did not support Ruto because they liked him, but because of the support Rigathi gave. So at the end of the day, Ruto was feeling like he's now being blackmailed. You are there because we put you there and we can remove you anytime we want. And so if you don't do what I want, I will deal with you. I've already incited the ground against you. The president felt caged, and the MPs were not left behind because he would now undermine any MP who refused to toe the line, especially those who came from Mount Kenya and Rift Valley. The deputy president, the former deputy president, that is, was even courageous enough to go to Rift Valley to actually read a riot act to those MPs and warn them, even telling some of them, stay in your constituency, do what. And so slowly by slowly, one thing led to the other. The only thing that was consistent is that the deputy president was not listening to sound advice. That was very consistent. Everything that he would do, you would be like, why would he do that? Especially when you've done something and you've seen that the public is not happy with it, or you've seen that the president, your boss, is not happy with it. The president will now go to national events and say, please, tuache ukabila. I don't know if you can remember. The president would be like, tuache ukabila. Tuacheni ukabila. What we are doing is wrong. And so this was directed as his deputy, but the deputy will still say, wananita mkabila because I'm fighting for my people, etc. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it became so obvious that anything that was to de-escalate the situation was not something the deputy president was going to go for. The deputy president was not interested in anything that was going to de-escalate the situation. He was like, come and buy, kaende, kaende. We will show you who we are. We are the son of Mau Mau. We are what. And so when he dared the powers that be, and considering that he had gone outside of his mandate and was now losing favor with the people from other regions and the members of parliament, it was time to let him go. But he also didn't see the signs, because if he wanted to skip all this, all he could have done was to make a very tactical retreat. Just say, okay, I'm sorry, I've gone astray, Mr. President. That will never happen. So that even if he pretends for the rest of the time, come 2027, he goes with Kalonzo and they form another coalition, whatever it is, but he would have saved himself. But that was not how the DP was working. He believed that his way is the way, and anybody who did not see things his way had to either ship out or ship out. And so it led to where we are. He's been impeached against what he expected, because his expectation was that nobody was going to dare even table a motion. A motion was tabled. He was like, nobody from Mount Kenya is going to dare, considering the ground, was going to dare to vote against him. Of over 40 MPs from Mount Kenya region voted to send him home. He believed that Senate will not approve all these things. 53 senators voted to send him home. So that is also 80% or thereabout of senators voting to send you home. So he still believes that he can go to court and change his fate. Why I don't think that is going to work for him is because of what I said about the courts can only fault the process. So the process has to be flawed for the courts to come in and say the deputy president was removed in an unfair way. It can be either public participation was not done. They tried that, it was thrown out, and they were told, go to Senate and defend yourself. Now they pulled that trick yesterday. And in my opinion, it was a very poorly written script. I could be wrong, but even if you were to be the advisor of the deputy president, you don't pull such stunts. Why? I'm not doubting whether the deputy president fell sick, etc. But from the look of things, even most of the commentators who support the deputy president were saying it was a genius move. So it appeared like it was a planned thing. And even if you listened to the counsel for the deputy president, the Honorable Paul Muite, he was like, it should be given until Tuesday. So he was even estimating how long the DP will be sick and when he will get well. Yet, you cannot determine when somebody is going to be okay, especially when they have just been taken ill and they have serious chest pain, and considering the age of the deputy president. Perhaps they would have wanted to go for further checkup, considering he has a lot of money. He can afford the best healthcare in the world. So when you look at what was done yesterday, it was like we didn't nail it at the... we had nothing to prove that public participation was not done. However, what if we say that we were never heard? That was going to be difficult, considering they were already there. They had already filed their response, and they already cross-examined the the National Assembly. Every one of them, every witness that was brought there, they cross-examined. So that the only time they disappeared is when it was their turn to be cross-examined. But their evidence was there. So whoever told the DP that running away would give you a chance to go to court and say you were never heard, misled him, because already his written submission was there. And not just written submission. His people, the lawyers, etc., had participated in interrogating the witnesses of the National Assembly using the written response of the deputy president. They would even refer them in the deputy president's response, this volume, this. So it was something that the Senate was seized of. It was already discussed. If you go to court and say you are never given a chance, it just looks like malice. In my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, so I won't have finalities on this. But I can tell you that even from a layman's perspective, it is very obvious that if you go to court and claim that I didn't get fair hearing, when the only time you disappeared is when it was your turn to be questioned. You questioned the other person. Let's say we go to court. You question me. You interrogate my witnesses. Now, when it is my turn to do the same, you fall sick. And then now you go and you say, I don't feel that I was fairly represented because when it was I was never given an opportunity to talk. So that coincidence was too massive. I think the Senate will also present their case there, and a good judge will just see that this was just a delaying tactic. Okay, and it was understanding that there is a time limit, so they knew that if it is not done within 10 days, it will be illegal. Anything you do after that is illegal. That is why they were asking for Tuesday. Another one was the belief that if the ruling is made, if the senators voted without him, then it will also invalidate the process, because he will just go and argue that he was never given a chance to be heard, lack of fair hearing. In my opinion, I think the best move for the deputy president, if you asked me today, is to go quiet. That is my opinion. If I was to advise him, the best move for the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua is to go quiet. Just go underground. Even disappear from the country. Just disappear. Go somewhere, even for 6 months. Come back rejuvenated. Take your position as opposition, or just toe the line. The government won't be after him. If he goes the opposition route, chances are that the government may now narrow down on him. Because remember, he had consumed intelligence. He has an oath of office. But you've seen from the way the deputy president, the former deputy president, handled things, he doesn't care about oath of office. It means that whatever they discussed at cabinet or elsewhere, he can use it for politics out there against the law. So, in my opinion, he should just go quiet for a while. Let the heat die off. In fact, if possible, let him support Kindiki Kithure. It would give him two things. One, a chance to be very influential. Because remember, if the courts uphold the impeachment, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua can neither be appointed nor can he vie. However, that does not mean he cannot be influential as a private citizen. Does not mean he cannot get his things done as a private citizen. Because picture this, if he controls Mount Kenya, but he can't vie and he can't be appointed, chances are he can say, give this job to this person, give this to this person, and I want this for myself. So he can still be a power broker, if you like the term. He can still be a power broker. Somebody who is or a kingmaker, somebody who has a lot of support on the ground, which he can bring to you. Okay, he has a lot of support on the ground, and that support he can bring to you, and in exchange for 1, 2, 3. So that is my opinion. If the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua was to be advised by me, I will tell him go quiet, leave the issues of court. Though it is you are right, I'm not suggesting that he should not do it, but in my opinion, it is not worth it. Leave the issues of court, go quiet, support Kindiki. You still have the Mount Kenya people behind you. You can negotiate, use them for negotiation or for bargaining for things. And you will have no problem. You live your life quietly, run your businesses quietly, no problem at all. But if you now, as a private citizen, dare the government, yet you are not very clean, none of us is, then they can narrow down on you. You see, when the deputy president was arguing that whatever I'm being accused of, other people have done it, that is not defense at all. When they narrow down on you, you are being used as an example so that it deters others from trying to do what you did. In my opinion, I think the deputy president has learned his lesson. He should just be quiet, disappear if he has to for some time, come back, resume normal life as a private citizen, but a very powerful one with a lot of influence in Mount Kenya. But if he chooses the route of, I want to now fight Ruto as a private person, I want to now alienate Kikuyus the most, I want to now alienate Kikuyus further, it will not be good for him, in my opinion. It is, in every battle, I usually insist, in every battle, ask yourself, can I win? If you can win, fine, but is it worth it? In this, he can never win against Ruto and Raila combined. I tell you that. 2, it is not worth it because he will end up even more destroyed. The best way for Rigathi Gachagua is not the courts and other things. He should just calm down. disappear for a while, be quiet, and then come back as a very influential private citizen. You never know. Even William might still be kind to him, because I don't think William hates the guy. The president, I don't think the president hates the guy. So you never know. They might still just meet and have a talk here and there, forgive each other, and he moves on with his private life and an influential politician. Though he cannot be elected, though he cannot be appointed, but he will still have a say on who is appointed where and who is given what, which is real power, in my opinion. If you found this video informative, drop a like, comment, and share it with friends. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Let us meet in the next video.